You have just visited the Candy Swick and Company website. We'd like to thank you for visiting. And we have a special guest today, and that special guest is Robert W. Brown, better known as Rob. And Rob is the Vice President of Atlas Insurance Company. And we've asked him here today as a great resource for information about insurance. So Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about Atlas Insurance and what makes you the best resource that's out there?
The best, huh? Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Atlas has been in Sarasota since 1955, so we've withstood that test of time. It's a family-run agency, so we have roots in this area. And
you said family-run. Who started Atlas Insurance?
My grandfather started it in 1953. I'm actively the managing partner. Some might wonder if I'm actually doing anything, but
you've got the hard job.
And I took over the management from my father, who's still in the agency and still performing some duties for us. So
that's very good.
Giving guidance.
That's good. So it started with grandfather to father to son, and I understand we have. It's a bigger company than just three people. How many people are in your employee?
We have 35 employees. We're fortunate to have 4 partners, 2 non-Brown family partners. Darren Howard joined the agency, and his brother-in-law Tom Coaches is also with us. And both actively producing business and helped me on some of the management.
So tell me what kind of insurance that you offer, because the reason we have you here is we deal, of course, in real estate, and people have lots of questions if they're a first home buyer or they're a very experienced, sophisticated person that has multiple properties. But what kind of insurance does your company cover?
The agency has always done both personal and commercial. Personal lines being homeowners, automobile, boats, second homes, rental properties, personal type rental properties, as well as umbrella insurance. We also do the commercial lines, commercial buildings, workers' comp, various types of business, contractors, restaurants, and as well as the employee benefits side. And
is there any type of insurance that you don't do?
Thank you for asking. The one area that we don't have a presence in is mobile home insurance.
Okay,
for the individuals. We do actually some mobile home communities, just not the individual homes.
Unidome.
Right.
Okay, that's very good. So let's say that I'm a first-time home buyer, and I'm going to refer the first-time home buyer to you. What are the things that you would want to tell the person about insurance? What would you want to do to educate those people?
Well, that's a great opening statement there. First-time home buyers have so many challenges, I guess, and insurance can be one of them. The first thing I would tell them is to select an agency that's familiar with the area that they're buying in. If they're buying probably not on the water, but if it's say a starter home, oftentimes we see those homes are not new construction. We let them know that they'll probably need a 4-point inspection, so their roof is going to need to be inspected, the air conditioning, the electrical, and the plumbing.
Okay,
because
so
those are
roof,
4 common areas of claims. Yeah.
Roof, electrical, plumbing, and air conditioning.
Right.
And we have home inspections, we have a general one, and that's a very specific one, the 4-point inspection.
The 4 points. So you don't want to wait to the last minute to have to order that, although in today's climate there's inspectors standing by for your call. Unfortunately, or fortunately. I think for one of the areas that we have the most discussion about is how much insurance they should carry.
That's excellent.
And that's, from the insurance world, it should be based on the replacement cost of that house, today's dollars. And this would apply for any home, actually. But frequently we will hear, well, the bank is only asking for $100,000 or $200,000 or whatever the number is. That's based on the bank's commitment on your entire property. We're, from the insurance side, looking only at what it takes to rebuild that structure. So the land value is out, any depreciation is out, because typically it's done on a replacement cost basis. Today's dollars, today's construction cost, which might be higher than what you paid for that house if you, it's maybe the house has got 10 or 15 years of age on it, and it's depreciated depending on the market. We often hear that the tax appraiser has valued the house or there's an improved value there. That is based on comparable sales, as will be the bank appraisal would be on comparable sales, excuse me.
But the most important thing on insurance then is you want to look at what the cost to replace that house is going to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and we look at 100% replacement cost. Sometimes there's some penalties in the policy if you underinsure, but from my experience dealing in catastrophic situations, when you have a Hurricane Andrew or Hurricane Katrina, construction costs spike dramatically. So there's that possibility of an increased cost. Your better homeowners insurance policies have a little bit of flexibility, frequently 25% to cover that replacement. Another area in that, especially with older homes, which sometimes first-time buyers might be in the older home market, and in Florida the older homes might, we're talking 60s, sometimes 70s, there's the building ordinance coverage. And so if there's a change in the building ordinance, which there have been dramatic changes in our building ordinances, to rebuild that house to the current code is likely more expensive than it was originally constructed.
And that's interesting because coming up to today's standards.
Exactly.
Our Miami-Dade codes changed in 2000, which require different tie downs for roof, different windows, many different issues. So that's very important to know.
The additional strapping requirements to keep your roof attached to your walls and your walls to your slab.
That's a good thing to keep your roof attached.
It is. The garage doors have to be stiffer. You find maybe a shutter requirement or impact glass windows, more steel in the walls. There's a number of items that add to the cost of the house.
So what else do I need? I understand the home inspection, I understand the 4-point inspection, I understand a reputable company that's going to educate me about what I need to know. What other issues do I need to look for?
I would look at the insurance companies that a particular agency offers. Right now, we've got a lot of companies that don't have much of a track record in Florida. There's been a shortage of insurance companies willing to insure homes, specifically on homes. Autos are not a problem. You can do that. So I would look to an agency that's got a good spread of insurance carriers that have as much history as possible. I would look for carriers that solid financial ratings. AM Best has been the benchmark company.
AM Best. And what is AM Best?
and Company. AM Best is a rating service that's been in the insurance world more than 50 years that I can think of.
So do I go?
It's the gold standard.
Do I go to ambest.com?
Yes.
So the letter A, the letter M, best.com. And just so our visitors know that are in the website, that we're going to have some information posted on the website so that you can find Rob's information. Feel free to call him for assistance to educate you. That's really important too. You mentioned, you were mentioning some other things about a sophisticated buyer, what they might look for.
Okay. The sophisticated buyer typically will have maybe a larger home, additional homes, frequently automobiles, high-value cars in other states, planes, trains, and other toys, yachts, that sort of thing. And with that comes insurance is regulated state to state, so there's multiple state requirements when you get into that sort of a client, as well as the liability exposures. They need typically higher limits. Sometimes it's not uncommon to see a $5 or $10 million excess liability policy to cover their exposures.
Because they're a target.
They're a target, and if you're in an accident driving a Maserati, they might make the next step that there's a deep pocket somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and it's we want to keep them informed and protected. So, okay.
I'm really pleased that you were here. There's so much more to cover than we have time for, but what I'm hoping is that we'll post some further information on the website for you, and we're also going to have Rob's email and his phone number and his company, so that if you have those questions, he's an excellent resource for us. And Rob,
thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it.